Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Wellness Wednesday. It's August 25th today. I haven't seen you all in a couple of months, so I'm excited about today's presentation that I've been looking forward to for a couple of months, but due to unforeseen circumstances, we had to reschedule. So thank you for joining us, and for those who are joining later, thank you as well. I wanted to take a moment too to thank all of you for your emails and your responses and your phone calls and your questions and your ideas. That's where I come up with a lot of this, in case some of you watching wonder, well, where is he coming up with starting over and who am I and wrap overview. So I take from what I'm sent, and then I kind of gauge where my audience is and what they might enjoy and like to see. So today I wanted to go back to basics. So when I say new beginnings and starting over in our new way of life with COVID-19, and it seems like he or she is here to stay for a good while, right? Like a relative you can't get rid of, or a husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend that you just don't want anymore. It just keeps rearing its ugly head. But the whole who am I, and I know I've done that before in one of my series, who am I? Who am I now on August 25th, 2021? And I think it's important that we, when we do check in with ourselves, that we're able to look at a clock and look at a calendar and say, okay, today, August 25th at 12:02 p.m., who is Baltimore? Because I'm different than who I was yesterday. And I'll get into a little bit more of that later. So again, happy Wellness Wednesday. As you all know, I stole that from Susan Holt, and she's very well aware. I liked this a lot. Stay away from or rid yourself of toxic people. While friendships are good for your health and good friendships are to be celebrated, toxic friends or people can be draining, stressful, depressing, demanding, and put your health at risk. So remember that puts your health at risk. A long-term study found that people in negative relationships were more likely to develop heart problems than people whose relationships were more positive. So let that sink in for a second. So I don't just think of this as intimate relationships, but think of this as relationships even with coworkers or with clergy, or people from your church, people from your soccer team, whatever it is we engage in. We still want to make sure these are positive influences in our lives, right? Because it does have a negative impact on our mind, body, and soul, and it's proven. So the whole starting over thing, when I had thought about that, I had heard the word reset. And for some of you that are probably very familiar with the viral YouTube clip where somebody was reclaiming their time, resetting, how do we reset? How do we do a reset when especially a lot of things are not in our control? Because somebody may say, well, Baltimore, that's a lot easier said than done. Okay, I'm just going to reset, but I have all these other people to think about. Well, and that's where we're going to get back into basics of putting you first and foremost. Because if Baltimore is not okay with Baltimore, then how can Baltimore be there for everybody else when it comes to work, when it comes to home? And maybe I can. Maybe many of you can. But I'll tell you what, for me personally, it doesn't mean I'm going to be doing it most of the time with a smile on my face. So I may get everything done that needs to be done, but I would like to do it and be happy. So ask yourself, as far as a check-in, how are you doing today? And when I go to the next slide, we're going to talk about a check-in. And I explained about the starting over, who am I in this moment? And then a lot of people have asked me to do a wrap overview again, the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. Even from other agencies, I get tons of stuff from people. And so just really quickly, I'll tell you that all has been put on a halt as far as trainings, and we're not allowed to virtually train the advanced level facilitators due to a fidelity issue with the Copeland Center. So this is why you have not seen trainings to certify people, but I can give you an overview, which is what I'm going to do. So I hope you're all doing great. So as we check in, begin by checking in how you're feeling in both body and mind. I'm a true believer that our body will tell us when something's off, right? If we're halt, hungry, angry, lonely, tired, there are tons of acronyms out there for acknowledging that our body may not be in sync or in balance with our mind. And don't worry if there are lots of thoughts whizzing around with their ugly mitts trying to get on your mind. It's normal. And for now, it's just about letting them go. Again, someone might say, easier said than done, Baltimore. We're going to learn ways in which we can let them go temporarily, and then we can begin to work on those things. Checking in with yourself. How are you feeling physically and mentally? What is taking up most of your headspace right now? I used to do this thing when I did groups, and it was a picture of a brain. And then I would ask people to fill in on there how much of their brain was being taken up by certain things. And it could be positive or negative. So if you do have some scratch paper, you could do it on scratch paper. Do it in the form of a pie. And you'd be amazed at how often people's relationships were either in the positive or the negative that took up a good 70 to 90%. I happen to be single, so I don't have that issue. And eventually the day will come where I hope it fills up that positive. How are your energy levels? How are your energy levels doing as far as when you wake up? I think most of us know when we wake up, right? Or most of the people that I know, including myself, did I sleep good last night? Did I have a good rest? Am I restored? Am I rejuvenated? Am I ready to go, today? Or am I dreading those meetings and dreading those emails? And that tells me a lot about where my mind and body are at, and especially my rest level and how I'm feeling. Are you coping okay with stress and finding healthy ways to manage? What support do you need right now? Huge. What support do you need right now? Because that can lead into other questions of, well, how do I find support? People will often say, well, I'm not in a supportive environment, Baltimore. I'm married and my husband doesn't support me, or my wife doesn't support me. And well, for one, those are things you could talk to a therapist about. But two, if not, you can talk to your supporters about that, and we'll get into supporters later. Checking your battery. This is my absolute favorite. Checking your battery, and feel free to reach out if you'd like a copy, but or you can Google it. Not choking your battery, checking your battery. How are you currently feeling? Are you feeling great? Keep meeting needs and practicing self-care, and you're just doing great. Everything you should be doing, right? You're going for walks and you're drinking water and you're just smiling all day long. Are you feeling okay? How can you make your day a tiny bit better? Are you struggling? Practice triage. What area of your life is suffering the most right now? Focus on that area today. Feeling good. How can you maintain the levels you're currently at? So that's a good one that we're going to get into with RAP, is how do we maintain feeling good? How can you love on yourself today? Be extra kind to yourself. How can you love on yourself today? I'm empty. Pinpoint what's draining you and try to create a boundary, and then do one thing that fills you up. So you can think of it like a gas tank, a car that's running out of gas. One of my friends who's a clinician had said to me one day, giving me the analogy of a pressure cooker, and the pot is just filling and filling and filling with pressure, and nothing is being released. And that analogy has always stuck with me. So when I'm not feeling well, I'll tend to do a process of elimination and go on a piece of paper what's really stressing me out, kind of the practicing the triage. And okay, well, let me deal with that, and so for full transparency, I have found as of late, and probably in the past year, that a symptom for me when I'm not doing well is my stomach. So when I get really, really, really stressed, my ulcers act up. And of course, that's not a problem that people have in their 20s typically, and probably even early 30s, whatever. Um, but it is happening to me. So I have to be extra vigilant because my body will, in no uncertain terms, even give me a hint. My body will say, that's it. Like, you need to deal with this stuff. So I want to share a video with you guys. I don't often share videos, but this is, Alan Watts is one of my favorite people. And this is one of my favorite videos of his. I'm going to share this really briefly. It's just a 3-minute and 38 second video. So please watch, please enjoy, and then we'll move on to the next part. And please, if you could in chat, let me know your thoughts, anything else you're thinking. Here we go. I closed out the PowerPoint. What's the easiest way to get to it, Brian?
It's right there on the desktop.
Awesome. Am I back on?
Your audio is on.
It's off?
No,
Oh.
they can hear us.
All right, well, I hope everybody enjoyed that video. It's one of my favorites, The Dream of Life by Alan Watts. And again, let us know in chat, or let me know what you thought of that. Email me, just something to ponder about. Something that I often listen to when I'm feeling like, oh, I'd rather be doing this, or I'd rather be doing that. And then I have to, I'm sorry, I have to ask myself, would you though? Like, would you change everything? You know, yeah, there are some things I want to change. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. So we're gonna move into rap history now, okay? So quickly, in 2003, Mary Ellen Copeland, who is the founder of RAP, along with some other people in recovery and supportive allies, they founded the Copeland Center for Wellness and Recovery. So they did this to promote mental health through education, training, and research based on the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. And RAP was named in honor of Mary Ellen's mother, Catherine Strauss Copeland, who died in 1994. And she had mental health challenges herself, and her daughter found her to be very inspirational, Mary Ellen Copeland. So that's how RAP started. Of course, there's a lot more to the history, and feel free to look that up if you'd like, or I can send you some history, but for the sake of time. But what is RAP? A lot of people, you know, hear the word RAP and the Wellness Recovery Action Plan. And I do feel that in the past year and a half, due to COVID, that we've lost some momentum because of that. So we're hoping to pick up some of that momentum again. For those who are interested, please reach out to me. And so RAP is a wellness and recovery approach, strength-based wellness and recovery approach, individualized strengths, individualized goals, strengths, plans. It's all about the individual. It's all about you. So I'm going to say you learn to use RAP through a peer-led and peer-engaged group process that progresses in 3 distinct phases. So I want you to understand something, that when we say peer-led and peer-engaged, we're not talking about how you hear of peer support specialists and peer support this and that. We're talking about Dewan and I are peers when it comes to RAP. Susan Holt and I are peers when it comes to RAP. Brian and I are peers. The janitor and I are peers. We are all peers living and sharing this world when it comes to a process that involves getting better and well-being. So one, a peer delivery introductory session in which participants learn about RAP and become engaged. Hence, I'm introducing you today if you've not heard about it. 2, 8 to 12 weekly or bi-weekly peer-led RAP development sessions that are approximately 2 hours in duration. Here in Fresno, we've done a 2-day training and kind of bulked it into 2 days at once, which is what we prefer. And we've done tons of them, but those have been on hiatus because of COVID. 3, ongoing voluntary RAP groups that facilitate peer support. The single criterion for engagement in any RAP group is that the person must be willing to participate. That's it. They must be willing to participate. So what are the benefits? What are the shown benefits through studies? As you guys all know, there are always studies that go behind anything that we use or promote out there. And anyone who wants to create a personal RAP plan and use it as a guide to daily living can benefit. Mary Ellen's RAP for Life guide helps people who want to address or recover from any illness, condition, circumstances, issue that is interfering with their quality of life. You can use it to keep yourself well, to prevent the onset of illness, or to break ineffective, troublesome, and dangerous habits. Fortune 500 companies have had RAP people go in and train them. Hong Kong has had people from the United States go in and train them. I can't tell you specifically which organizations because I don't know, but I know that we've been to Hong Kong and different places. RAP has been shown to increase hopefulness. And what does hope mean to you? What does hope mean to you? I would love to share that in our next webinar if you guys would like to email me, what hope means to you. Improve quality of life. increase people's ability to self-advocate, increase feelings of empowerment, reduce the need to use healthcare services over time, improve recovery outcomes. So the 5 key recovery concepts are really the meat and potatoes of RAP. And in a nutshell, what they did was asked all these people that were in recovery, what are the 5 most important things to you? And they found that these were the 5 that kept coming up. And number 1 was hope, personal responsibility, education, self-advocacy, and then support. So I put silver lining in here because of hope. You guys may remember hearing silver lining a couple weeks ago. That came up when Susan Holt was speaking. And I think all too often some people feel like, well, how can you find a silver lining from COVID? How can you find a silver lining from this? So I wanted to share, it says here, a consoling or hopeful prospect. So it doesn't mean that we're saying COVID is great because this is what I learned. But what we're saying is because of this horrific traumatic experience, this other good thing did happen. An example of a silver lining in a sentence: if there's a silver lining to losing my job, it's that I'll now be able to go to school full time and finish my degree earlier. And no, Dewan and Lucia, I'm not saying I want to lose my job. This came from definitions.com. But what I will say is that for me, a huge silver lining is that I am on a team that I love with a supervisor that I adore, surrounded by strength-based people, and that was the hugest silver lining in this past year and a half for me. So if you could think of something, maybe some of you have a whole bunch of them. So I wanted to share this too. I shared this a long time ago. I cannot control. And I don't know about you guys, I never thought I was a control freak, and I'm not even sure I like calling myself a control freak now, but I do enjoy being in control. So I'm not sure if those two go, it sounds like they go hand in hand, right? That I'm playing semantics. So if others follow the rules of social distancing, I cannot control, so I can let go of these things. If others follow the rules of social distancing, the actions of others, predicting what will happen. RAP will tell you we're not fortune tellers, but we know that, right? Other people's motives. I love that one. Other people's motives. Well, what is the tone in that email? Why did they CC their supervisor? What is their, we'll drive ourselves nuts, right? I've been with the county 23 years. We'll drive ourselves nuts trying to figure other people's motives out. And sometimes there is no motive. The amount of toilet paper at the store, how long this will last, how others react. So I can control these things though, my positive attitude, or let's say my attitude, how I follow CDC recommendations. So I can tell you that in the past year and a half, I went through a time where I was really, really getting pissed off because people were not social distancing, they weren't wearing masks. And even now I see like 70% of people aren't wearing masks. But I found that as long as I wore my mask and as long as I was vigilant about how I took care of myself and learned to stop, I'll use this word for me, to stop judging others, and to stop, to just focus more on myself, and still carry that hand sanitizer and do all that I was supposed to, I felt a lot better. But I really had to let go of, well, why aren't those people wearing their masks over there? Now, work is different. If you're thinking about work, we're in closer proximities, we have to be with each other, so that's different. But I implore you to let your supervisor know if someone's not following the recommendations. Turning off the news. I started doing that a long time ago. Limiting my social media, my kindness and grace, finding fun things to do at home. This is another one. I would love to hear from you guys about what fun things in the past year and a half you learned to do at home. Even if it doesn't have to do with self-care. If it just, what did you find that, this is actually fun? Maybe playing board games or something. And I'll tell you something about this whole cannot control and can control, this COVID-15 as far as weight. Yeah, I feel like it's more of a COVID-50, which I'm working on right now. And the people that I know, I think, are closer to where I'm at than the COVID-15. So be blessed if it was only 15. So self-advocacy. What is self-advocacy about? What is it? Because we teach it, or we try to teach it to others. We try to encourage others. Well, speak up for yourself. You have to speak up for yourself. Well, something we have to remember is that that's different for everybody depending on how they grew up and how they learned, who they learned from, what speaking up meant. Did speaking up mean yelling to get your way? Did speaking up, mean whatever? So you have to figure out for you what self-advocacy means. And so speaking up for yourself, staying informed, definitely staying informed. Very, very important here, especially for those of you that are watching from work. Knowing your rights, finding support. I have found in the past couple of weeks when I had a possible exposure to COVID that HR was very, very, very supportive, and I can tell you that that's been my experience with them for a while, is that they're very, very supportive. Friends, family, problem solving, self-determination, asking for help. So it shows somebody